Good morning, and welcome back to Keep Moving with the Senior Center. I'm Amy Beck, the Director of Senior Services in Hopkinton. As many of you know, and it's been going on for a year, that the Senior Center is not open yet to the public, but we are still here. We're still here setting up programs and here if you need any kind of assistance. I know that sometimes our virtual program isn't something that all of you can get a hold of, but please know that there are ways that we might be able to get you in by your phone so that while you may not be seeing everything, you could be listening and be taking part. So if you have any questions about that, please give the Senior Center a call at 508-497-9730. As you know, we send out our newsletter each month, and so feel free to take a look at what's there and give us a call. I just want to make a quick mention that today we have Swingin' 60s. So we have a fashion show of the Swingin' 60s, and we would love to have you take part. If you have not already signed up, give a call to us. Again, it's 508-497-9730, and we can send the link out to you so that you can be a part of that. Just as a reminder, this is a live show, and so we'd love to hear from you. And if you would like to give us a call, the number is 508-435-7887. It's right there on the screen, and we hope you give us a call. We do have some fun things going on, and as always, even if you just want to say hi, we'd love to hear from you. The question of the week is, what is your favorite winter activity? So if you want to tell us, great. We hope to hear from you. This morning, I do have a special guest. I have Abby Rosenberg. She's here to talk about the Mental Health Collaborative and what it's doing and what they're up to. So good morning, Abby.
Hi, Amy. So good to see you.
Great to see you. I think we're getting used to the Hollywood Squares version of life with all these Zoom meetings, but at least we get to see each other. So what is the Mental Health Collaborative and what can you tell us about it?
We are an almost 2-year-old nonprofit based right here in Hopkinton. And our mission is to build resilient communities through mental health education and awareness. So really what that means is we want to open up the conversations about mental illness. We want to destigmatize it and teach people, educate people of all ages. From really, we start with middle school up through, as old as you can get. It's really important, especially right now during COVID, to really help people, myself included, all of us, how to really optimize and maintain our mental health, how to help others, how to help ourselves. So we seem to be doing a lot of work lately with that.
So what are some of the things that we can do? I mean, I know that we have our programs, we try to get people involved, but are there things that if you're at home alone that you can do specifically?
Yeah, I mean, and I think especially, and you asking me to come out here today, I think specifically, with any age, but especially with older adults. I mean, I know my dad, who's turning 91 tomorrow, so happy birthday, Dad. I hope you give me a recording. Yeah, he's going to want to see this. But I think, especially with older adults, they've had a lot of losses, more than many of us. As I was about to say, my dad pre-COVID was busier than I am, which is hard to believe. But, everything came to a halt. And just being able to see people, being able to talk to people, worried about their own health, given their risk factors, worried about their kids, worried about their grandkids and their mental health. So there's a lot of things for the senior population that I think make it even, more concerning. So I think I tell people in older age to do what we tell everyone, but basically is, trying to get some movement, whether that be walking the halls or moving your legs, some, dancing if you can, some kind of music, listening to music, getting good nutrition, trying to get good sleep. And a lot of these things are harder right now because of COVID. So a big thing I tell people that are older and younger, but especially older, is to ask for help. They are not a burden, and it helps all of us and them to help other people. So asking for help is huge. If it's harder to get fresh fruit or fresh vegetables, it doesn't have to be big things. It can be something so small, and it can be a conversation, staying connected. Huge, huge thing, because we've lost, all of us, so much of the connectedness that we take for granted. Just seeing people in the supermarket and smiling.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's something that we're doing here at the senior center. Is we're really trying to make sure that, if you need someone to talk to, we have a group of volunteers who will give you a weekly call. We have people who can help you with the assistance in getting the food or anything that you need. And that's the, I think, the shows keep moving. And so you mentioned, keeping moving. And I have to tell you, I think even if you are walking to your mailbox, carefully, of course, because we don't want you slipping on the ice. This is February now. We're not in January, but it's still February, and that is an issue. But that kind of activity, it's the mental activity that, as long as you're engaged in something. And so we hope that you take advantage. For my plug here is, we hope you take advantage as to what we're doing here at the senior center, but also reach out to friends. You never know when your call to someone else could be a lifeline. And, so don't hesitate. The worst thing that can happen is they say, "Hey, I'm busy right now. Can you call back later?" And so you call later. But you've made that connection. And I think, like you're saying, that's so important.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that we can do, and that we can get from our elderly neighbors and family members. And I know that some of the very best advice I've had um, in the past, but especially right now, is from my dad. And I know he likes listening and giving advice, but he's got a lot of great advice to give, and he's helped me, my family members, his friends in his community living. But taking that advice, his latest advice to all of us was, don't sweat the small stuff. And I think that couldn't be more important, because at least for me, I know I'm sweating the small stuff a lot of the time.
Well, we worry about everybody, don't we? But that kind of brings me to the next thing. I know you say most of your work is with middle schoolers and up, and as a grandparent watching this, I know that they're concerned about their grandchildren. And is there anything that they can be thinking about, or that they should be, I don't know, red flags being watchful of, or if they have concerns, what do they do?
Yeah, and that's a hard question, because right now, of course, it's really hard to tell what's just really normal, feeling bad because we've all had so many losses, and what could be a potential red flag mental illness, something to really get professional help for. And that's a lot of what we teach in our program. So we don't just do middle school. We have a school-based curriculum that we just finished at the middle school, but we are also, we do community mental health literacy programs, which talk a lot about, what's concerning and what's normal. Uh, and we would be happy to do a customized program for people at the senior center if they're interested. That's definitely something we can do.
Well, you know what? I think we'll have to talk about that, because I would love to see something where we, it's been a year almost, and we closed our doors. I think it was March 13th last year, right before St. Patrick's Day. We didn't have our big party. We didn't have any of that. And, that was really rough. It was not an easy decision, and yet it was the right decision. And, but it is still hard to see people sitting back. But we'll have to be in touch, because it would be great if we could have something just to connect. So the biggest message is, of course, just stay connected. Find some way to stay connected.
Yeah, I think staying connected, and we all think about when we do things for others that it has to be this big thing, but something really simple and small can change the trajectory of someone's day. And that's all it takes sometimes: a smile, a call. Little things can make big differences. And I think as a community, we all have to pay attention to each other, no matter what our age is right now, because in some ways it seems like the light at the end of the tunnel is coming, and it's exciting, and in some ways it feels like nothing is for certain. And it's going on and on and on. And it can feel bleak, especially in the middle of February.
Yeah, I have to laugh when you say smile because they can't tell. We're behind these masks, no one can tell. But it's still important. I think. Well, you can tell better than anyone else. But even smiling yourself changes how you feel. I notice myself, even though I know the person in front of me can't see me smile, I feel good. And so that don't forget that your smile does show up in your eyes. It does show up elsewhere, even if you know that the person in front of you is not seeing your mouth smile.
That's so, so important. And something I just realized myself is I've got to laugh more. Like laughing is, I mean, laughing gets your endorphins going physically, physiologically, but it's just important to laugh. So, if you can laugh at yourself, which I often do, or laugh at a movie or something, that's another thing that we can all do.
Yeah, so get those movies, turn on the TV, watch a good movie that's funny. Let's leave the sad stuff. Let's go for the funny stuff. There are some out there. I'm not really good at remembering any titles ever, so I couldn't suggest any, but let's keep that going. So, you know, um, what else can you tell us about the Mental Health Collaborative? I know, how did you come about starting it up?
I came about starting it in a bittersweet way. I am by trade a pharmacologist and psychotherapist, a nurse practitioner, and I've had a private practice for years and years. And a former patient of mine who had been doing great, who had suffered for years with depression and anxiety silently and shamefully, moved away, moved out of state. And about 3 years ago, I found out that he had died by suicide. And in his will, he had specifically asked that I help keep his message alive, which is that nobody should suffer silently or shamefully from mental illness. Um, and that became my mission. And, I think all of us and the people older than us as well grew up with that message. Don't talk about mental illness. You can talk about anything else, but not about, don't talk about that person who went to that hospital. And that's, mental illnesses are physical illnesses just like any other one. So he started me, sadly, on this mission. And that's where Mental Health Collaborative started.
I like the idea of breaking down the stigma that's associated with mental health. I mean, we're trying to do that with even dementia and making Hopkinton a little bit more dementia and age friendly. And that's part of it because there is such a stigma, and it's sad because there shouldn't be. I mean, just because you are dealing with an issue or a problem, you're still human. You're still part of this, and we want you part of this. And I think that's the other message is, stay active in this because you are so important to those who care about you, who love you, who want you to be a part of their life. And don't be afraid to ask for that help. Don't be afraid to go further, and even help others by a call. So, Abby, I don't know what more can you anything more you can share with us about what's happening. And I know you're trying something in Hopkinton's middle school, and you're reaching out to other communities.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Mental Health Collaborative, we are committed to educating people, as I said, of all ages, pretty much starting in middle school, doing these community mental health literacy programs. We're doing some really exciting work with Big Brother, Big Sister, other community organizations, and we've had a lot of outreach from other schools, I think, as people start to think about what it's going to be like to reintegrate for especially some of these youth. Some of them have never been in a high school before, and they're going to be finishing ninth grade. So we have had some calls from other districts that are really excited about it. It's you know it's something that's potentially life-saving and really, really needed. So I've said this in other talks with Jim and stuff, but we teach in our communities all types of literacy to students and adults, math literacy, English literacy, financial literacy, but no one really talks in depth or comprehensively about mental health literacy. And And it's just as important, if not more.
You know, you raised a really good point, and I think it's something that I want to say. I know that you know, people are starting. We are having a clinic this week at the senior center for the COVID vaccine. If you're 75 and older, we're working our way down right now. We're still in that first group, but even then, you reminded me of something. We need to emerge gently when we come back into what was or what we consider normalcy. I mean, even with those steps, and this is just a reminder to everybody, we're still wearing masks even if you're vaccinated until that changes, and we're still trying to protect and be socially distant because you don't know who may or may not have been vaccinated. So there are still things that we need to remember, but emerging gently back into what we considered normal. I think we all hope it's like open up the doors and we all run outside screaming, yay, we're here, like the end of some school year for a lot of kids, and you picture them on the bus, you know, screaming because they're done. And in some ways, yeah, I think it will be, but I think you're right. We need to remember that it will be a transition back as well to what's normal.
Yeah. And again, as a community, we can all chip in and do things for ourselves and for others. And it's going to look different. Everyone's journey is going to be different. We all have good days. We all have not so good days. But really just sticking together as a community. I mean, that's something about Hopkinton that is so special. And, you know, I really thank you for the work you do with the senior center. And I'd love Mental Health Collaborative to be a part of that in some way. I can't stress enough how the senior population has so much to offer all of us. And I think that's just something that can't go unsaid enough.
No, and I
just have to let my dog out. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, and I appreciate what you said. I think, you know, it is important to remember, you know, as seniors, as the senior population in Hopkinton, you are very important. You are a very important part of Hopkinton. You're a very important part of your families. And I know it's been harder because you haven't been able to see them as well or as much, but please remember that hasn't changed. And we want you to be safe, but we want you to realize how important you are to all of us. So don't forget that piece. And again, reach out if you need that help. Reach out if you need someone to talk to, or if you need help getting food, as we've mentioned before, or, you know, like I said, give us a call. We have volunteers here. We also have staff here, and you know what we're up to. And it's been kind of fun seeing a few of you in the last couple of days as you've come in for your vaccine. And again, we hope to get everyone, we'll right now it's still 75 and up, but we're hoping to reach out further soon. So, do you know, on a lighter note, Abby, I didn't ask you, what's your favorite winter activity?
I would say I've just recently retaken up skiing with my kids who have learned for the first time, but it's not great because you can't go in the lodge, and that's probably my favorite thing about skiing. So, I guess by far walking my dog on the trails in the woods. He is my therapy dog. That by far is the best thing, getting the fresh air, walking him. I'm grateful I can do it. So yeah, that's my favorite winter activity.
You know, we're a family of skiers as well. And I will say the lodge is a big piece of it. The kids always bring cards. So as we're after lunch or whatever, before people are ready to go out, or if they need a break, they come in, they play some cards. So that is, we've only gone a couple times this year, but but you don't have that experience right now. But even being out there, you're right. It's important to get out there. So your happy place is finding something you enjoy, like you say, going on the trails with your dog and taking a walk.
Yeah, and I'm extraordinarily excited to see my dad on his birthday for probably the first time. I think it's been, I don't remember it's been a long time. He just got his second vaccine. I haven't had mine yet, but with masks, we're allowed to go into where he lives, and I'm just thrilled to be able to see him, especially on his birthday.
And what birthday is this again?
91.
Wow, happy birthday to Abby's dad.
Yeah.
I won't sing. So Abby, thank you so much. We do appreciate all the work you're doing in the community. I will be in touch. I'd love to have something that we can do here at the senior center for our seniors. And again, if people have questions or they're concerned, reach out for help. If you're not sure how to help someone, or if you're concerned, talk to someone who might be able to help. I don't know if Abby is the one, or whether you would suggest they call someone else, but I think it's just important to reach out. So, Abby, do you have a suggestion to that one?
Yeah, for sure. And for sure, we'd love to be involved with the senior center. And if people are concerned, we have many. I mean, yes, they can always reach me, and Jim has all that information he can put up. It's Abby, ABBIE, at mentalhealthcollaborative.org. I can always try and help guide people where to go. But in Hopkinton, we have Interface, which is a great resource for people looking for help in terms of therapy. We have the Hopkinton Youth and Family Services. We have you. And yeah, if people need help, they need to ask, because it helps all of us to help others, and we all need to get our needs met. We're all one community.
Great. Thank you very much. And again, there is no stigma. We don't need that to continue. There are always moments where sometimes the simplest answer will turn it all around. Sometimes it isn't as simple, but don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Thank you, Abby. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks so much, Amy. And I can't wait to see you.
I know. Outside of the Hollywood squares, we will see each other soon.
That's right. Thanks so much for having me, and take care.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So just as a reminder, everybody, do check out your newsletter. We do, again, have a lot of information in here. And again, this afternoon, we do have a great show. It will be Swingin' 60s with fashion. We've had the speaker here before. I believe she's done one on Downton Abbey, and I think the Roaring 20s or something along those lines. I don't remember everything she's done here, but we're really excited to have her back. We do have other programs coming up this month. We have Healthy Shopping on a Budget. And as always, we have our exercise programs. We have our book groups. We have a craft kits that we can send home with you if you'd like. And take advantage of it. Give us a call. If you have ideas of something you'd like to see, we want to hear from you as well. So reach out to the Senior Center for that. So right now we have a video. It's Chef Natalie, and she's going to show us how to make cranberry cherry sauce.
Hi everyone. So here's another holiday special. And you may start seeing cranberries at the store. And I just love cranberries, but I love this particular cranberry sauce the best. So I have about 5 cups of fresh cranberries right here, organic cranberries. I have a very generous half a cup of sour cherries, and the ones I buy are called the dried pitted tart Montmorency cherries. So it sounds like a French name. No idea where they come from. They grow in the US and they're very tasty, but they make a great addition to the cranberry sauce. So that's the type. You can find those at Trader Joe's or other specialized supermarkets, but that's what I use in my sauce. And then 3/4 cup of sugar. So we'll start with the cranberries. We have to put them on the stove, heat them up. What I'm going to do is add the sugar and then about 2 cups of water. Now you might think it's a lot of water, but we have, don't forget, dried cherries. And the cherries will come back to life with the humidity, the water in the sauce. So we'll do that. I'm going to do 1 cup of water right now. So here's my 2nd cup of water. So we're going to let this boil. Once you see that the water is starting to heat up or close to boiling, you can start adding your cherries. And you just add them all at once and you stir. And see, you hear it boil. And you're just gonna let it cover it and cook it until the cranberries dissolve. So it's a very, very easy recipe. So let's take a look at my cranberry sauce. Ooh. So as you can see, the cranberries have collapsed, and as you stir, it's not too liquid at all. My cherries have started absorbing some of that water, and once you see that your cranberries actually have collapsed, you turn off the stove and it's ready to go. Now this is very hot, you need to let it cool off. It's gonna thicken even more as it cools off. But here's your sauce, it's ready. It's ready to serve with meat, white meat, or in a turkey sandwich, or even, I use it as filling for different pastries, so enjoy, delicious.
Oh, that looks good. I know that my mother and at the holidays makes a cranberry applesauce. I've never done the cranberry cherry. I may have to try that one of these days. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for coming today. We were thrilled to have Abby with us. And again, there is, we need to break down the stigma that asking for help is somehow weakness. Please remember that it's not. We are here to help. The Senior Center is here to give assistance if you need anything. And again, your safety is still our utmost importance. We are hoping that as more and more people get vaccinated, we will be opening up more programs, emerging gently, as I said before. But don't hesitate to reach out to us when you need assistance. But until then, please remember, keep masked, social distancing, good hand washing, good hygiene is the biggest message we have for you. And we cannot wait to see you again soon. So take care, everybody.